All right, we bring you news just in then. Over 100 undocumented migrants have been arrested in a home in Primrose in the east of Johannesburg. The minister confirmed that the group were apprehended at a home in the area. The group is 98 Ethiopians and 4 Malawians. Of the 102, only 4 have documents on them. Many of the group are believed to be minors. The owner of the house where the arrest was made has also been arrested. The Minister of Home Affairs is currently at Primrose police station where the group have been detained. He told the SABC that some of the group were transferred to hospital as they were malnourished. Minister Motsoaledi says that they believe that this could be a child trafficking syndicate. All right, let's take you live there. Hasina Gori is in Primrose for us this evening and brings us the latest from there. Very good evening to you, Hasina.
Good evening, Flo. We are in the East Rand in Ekurhuleni, where this evening 102 undocumented migrants have been arrested here in this area. They believe that they were found in a home here, some as young as 10 years of age. I want to bring in the Home Affairs Minister, who's been speaking to us here outside, giving us some idea of what's been happening here.
What has he been saying? Are these people, were they kidnapped or not?
Well, he can't speak English very well, but he's very evasive. The story he told me is that he was running a spaza shop in Durban. The spaza shop collapsed or something like that, and somebody offered him a job here in Joburg. And he came to take this job whereby he's running the house in which people arrive. But when you ask him exactly what do, he just tell you the Malawians are here to do the cooking for these 98 other people. But what do they do every day when they wake up? What's their job? He's very evasive on that. But I did talk to a few of them who can speak some bit of English. They say they were coming here to look for jobs, and it looks like, from what I can understand, they are brought here to be distributed to run the spaza shops around the whole country.
Minister, for those that have just joined us right now on SABC, can you just recap to us the process that happened here, the arrest that took place, the team that was part of it? I know this was a multidisciplinary team that came out, and that home that they were found in. Just describe to us what was the situation when the team went in.
Yeah, look, it's a huge house. That's why it could house 103 people. But the conditions, there's nothing, no finish, it's just blankets all over the floor, dirty pots, dirty plates, but the house is sort of fortified because they are butler proofs all over, at the doors, the windows, and all that. Yes, and yes, you are right. It was a team led by the rapid response team of the police, and brought in Home Affairs immigration officers. And paramedics have to be rushed in because I told you some of them were found not to be in good health.
Minister, what is the process now? What happens to those undocumented migrants, and will they now be brought into court?
Look, the kingpin is a refugee. He has got our refugee status documents, which has been renewed 4 times already, and the present refugee status he has got expires only in 2026. So he's basically misusing it. We're going to have to deal with him. But these others, we have got to check clearly, because among them, they are clearly victims, especially the 10-year-olds. They are victims, they might have been trafficked. So we'll have to follow the laws. We'll have to call social development department. So it's still going to be a lot of work.
And this kingpin, is he also from Ethiopia?
Yeah.
Do we know his nationality?
Oh yes, he's an Ethiopian. I told you we've given him refugee status. He has been a refugee in South Africa since 2009, actually. And his refugee status expires in 2026. Remember, refugee status, you keep on renewing it if the conditions that made you a refugee have not been resolved yet. So that's why he has been renewing it, but he has been here since 2009. But he's clearly using it for...
You did point out, Minister, that some of these people have had to go to hospital. Do we know how long they had been in there? Were they not eating? Were they being abused physically?
Well, look, I can't say so because I couldn't be allowed to examine them, obviously. But I looked at them and I saw those who were dehydrated. Obviously, when they arrive at the hospital, they will tell us exactly the reason of dehydration. The kingpin said the 4 Malawians who were brought in they were brought in to do the cooking. So I thought maybe they were being fed, but I saw a lot of dirty pots there and all that. So it will be determined by the medical examination whether they were being fed very well or not. But it's not clear. I don't think they all came at the same time. I don't think it's one consignment of people who came. I think the house is being used to bring people into the country and distribute them for all over, whoever wants cheap labor, I think.
Do we have an understanding of how they entered into the country? The 4 passports that you found, none of them have any entry stamps or visas for the country.
There are 103 people, but only 4 passports, meaning only 4 people have got passports. But those passports are meaningless because there are no visas inside. When you come from Ethiopia to come to South Africa, you need a visa, even if you've got a passport. But secondly, there are no stamps. There's no indication that they went through any formal border. So they are just carrying the passport, but they came illegally, very clearly.
Do we know who is the owner of this house?
Well, look, we got the manager. Clearly, he's hired from what he told us. He said something like being paid 15,000 rand. We don't know whether per person they keep there or what. Because as I'm saying, he's very evasive, but he also doesn't speak very good English. It's difficult to understand him. So we still have to look for the owner. The police will still have to find the owner very, very clearly.
Minister, we've had these concerns around illegal migrants, undocumented foreigners that are in this country. You're saying that this specific, manager has refugee status. Do we have porous borders, and do we need to see some change in our refugee bills that we have and laws that we have to ensure that we don't have people abusing these kind of statuses?
No, but you can't keep on asking the same question about porous borders. We have acceded to that. We've conceded to that long ago. That's why we established the Border Management Authority, and we hired border guards last year on the 14th of July, and the border guards since July have already stopped 35,000 people who were trying to come into the country illegally. They've even picked up 95,000 people who came into the country with documentation but overstayed, meaning they just, when their documents expired, they just kept on staying. So they've stamped them undesirable, they are not going to come in. The border guards have already stopped 141 cars which were about to cross the border. Now, your good question, yes, about changing the laws. Yes, we are busy with that. I've already announced that we are about to send the white paper to the cabinet because we need to do a radical overhaul of the migration system of the country. There's no question about that. The Immigration, the Citizenship Act of 1995, the Refugee Act of 98, the Immigration Act of 2002, we need to repeal them and all start from the scratch. But we start with a white paper as the foundation, the basis of doing that work. There's no question about it, we'll do it. And as I'm saying, this kingpin here, he's a refugee. He was given refugee status, look what he's doing. You'll remember this guy from Rwanda, who was arrested for genocide. Yes. I mean, he has got legal documents to be inside the country.
Okay. Minister, you did mention that some of these people are as young as 10 years old. I don't know if you have any idea whether there are males or females among them, or all of them are males?
No, there are no females, definitely. All right. They are all males.
That was Minister of Home Affairs, Motsoaledi, speaking to us here at Primrose Police Station, where 102 undocumented foreign nationals have been arrested. As we heard, it was a tip-off that they were given, and that the over 100 were found in a home, a 5-bedroom home, living in squalor conditions with very, very little. Many of them seem to be malnourished, some minors as young as 10. It's unknown yet how they entered into the country, with many of them having no documentations. This is an ongoing story. We'll keep you, up to date as we get more information regarding the specific situation. But for now, Flo, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Hasina Gori, there at Primrose Police Station, having a conversation, of course, with the Home Affairs Minister, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, there about these over 100 undocumented migrants, 102, I believe, who have been arrested from a home in Primrose in the east of Johannesburg. And of course, a crime issue, of course, linked to this too, as there are concerns of there being a child trafficking ring, as some are indeed minors. We'll certainly be keeping you updated on this story, as it is, of course, a developing story.